Yay! Welcome to the first table read of 2025. I'm so excited, especially to do one of my all-time favorite comedies. Um, there he is. Ta-da! All right. Friends to me was like my young adulthood, right? Like graduating high school and my early years of college, like that was like the aspiration. This was really fun to put together and to watch all of your auditions. So thank you all for auditioning, and putting your hard work into it. I hope you all got valuable feedback from your auditions, even just in the text. Remember that the audition reviews are there for you as well if you wanted to be one-on-one, get a half hour. I know that Kimberly and we actually got it up on its feet and we tried a few different things on this one, especially since you've already got the written feedback. We still work through those beats and why I said those things, but it moves a little bit faster now. And so we were able to get it up on its feet and try some new things um, during our audition review. Anybody else? I know Caroline's had an audition review. I know Evan and Carly coach with me all the time. Bruno, you had one. Reece, we didn't really do an audition review. We just had a chat. Anybody else had an audition review that wants to like kind of talk about their experience? Leila,
I was just raising my hand that I had one.
do you want to share about what your review was like?
Yeah, it was really, for me, I've never had any like coaching or anyone teach me anything really about auditions or self-tapes or anything like that. So all of the tips that you gave me were very helpful and they were all like tips that like I wouldn't have noticed, like things like my eye line or just like how I like move or like the way I'm standing, how close I am to the camera, just little things like that that make like a really big difference. So I really appreciate those and it's definitely very, very helpful. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, so you guys take advantage of those. They're only $25 to get a half hour with me. So it's basically half off of my hour sessions. Like my own private sessions are usually $100 an hour. So to get a half hour with me for $25 is a good deal. Okay, so take advantage of that. You get a free one. If you've never used it, you get a free one. Other classes that we have callback coaching. You guys, that's Monday nights at 5 o'clock Pacific time. This isn't only if you have a callback. Okay, this is just to practice your callbacks. So you could use your friend's audition if you wanted to. You could use an audition that you've already done that you want to practice doing live, or you can look up new stuff and practice putting an audition together and coming in and doing it live. The difference between this and like doing a self-tape practice is if you get a call back, you don't get a gajillion takes to get the perfect one for your audition. And you're going to have a room full of boxes just like this, and they're going to be the casting director, the producers, a lot of different people. And you want to come in prepared and be ready to make sure your tech is right, make sure your live Zoom is right. What does it feel like sitting in the waiting room while you're waiting for your turn to be called? All of those things that we're not quite used to anymore. And that's what the callback coaching like sessions are. You'll get to do it live. I'll give you a redirect or some notes. You'll do it again, and then I'll leave you with some homework, things that you can work on to improve for the next time you do it. There's only 18 in that class. It's a 3 hour class, but everybody gets to work, and then you watch others and learn from others as you go. And then, of course, we have our boot camp. We have a boot camp alum, Evan, wave. He did last summer. And we have our New Year's resolution person came on. We're doing it in February with Leila. Leila's gonna meet me in LA and have a good time in February. So the next one that we have is this summer. I might do another VIP weekend. I don't know because it's a lot of pressure. But the weekend summer rehearsals start in May. And then we'll be in June 22nd, we'll be starting our trek out to LA to shoot your two demo reels and your two headshots. And we're at party and we have a lot of fun, don't we, Evan? Yeah, he's muted. We have a lot of fun. It's hard work, but it's a lot of fun. So I'd love to see you out there. If you have any questions about that, just let me know. But that's the classes right now. We are in the works of a lot of different things. I know I just spoke with a talent manager that wants to put an intro to the intro to show business class together. And we might do that. I know I'm wanting to put a SAG contracts class or workshops together to go over SAG workshops. There's a bunch of stuff that we're looking at doing. So just keep your eyes posted on your emails for new classes that are posted. Okay. With that, hi, I'm Ashley, Ashley Atwood. I am an Emmy nominated actress and producer, and I'm the director of the Desert Playhouse, which we just went over who the Desert Playhouse is. Our mission is to help actors not only with the craft of acting, but with the business of show business. So we want you guys to be prepared once you hit the ground running. With that, we do the table reads. Right. So we get a mock audition practice, but then we're also, this is part of the business. You get hired on something, you show up to a cable read, you need to know that this is what a part of that process. How do you prepare for that? So I'm really excited to have you all. Stephanie Massman is on the call today. Hi, Stephanie. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hang on one second. Let me turn on my camera. Um, Hello, everybody. I am Stephanie Massman. I'm with the Parmeter Group, and I know Carly, Evan, and Bruna. I'm so excited that you guys are all on here. And for those of you who I don't know, I'm really excited to be watching this table read because I'm always potentially looking for new clients myself. And I can tell you hands down that Ashley is the best instructor out there. So you guys are all really lucky, I think, to be in this experience. And so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera now and just watch.
Enjoy.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, so now let's do some cast introductions. I put the order of introductions in the chat. If you will go through, say your name, where you are located, and what role you'll be reading for.
Hi, everybody. I'm Angel Freiling, and I'm based in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm reading for Carol today.
Bruna, you're next.
Hello, I'm Bruna Pachetti. I'm a Brazilian actress based in Los Angeles, and I'll be reading for Franny today. Thank you for having me. Very exciting.
Hi, I'm Carly. Nice to meet you all. I'm located in LA and I'm reading for Joey today.
Hi, I'm Caroline Eaton Pickard. I'm based in Austin, Texas, and I'm reading for Ross.
Hello, how's it going? My name is Evan Hamilton. I'm located in Austin, Texas, and I will be reading for Chandler Bing. Thanks, guys.
Hubert, your turn. Is he frozen? He looks frozen. Keith, go ahead. We'll get Hubert when he comes back.
Me. Hi, I'm Keith Kearney. I'm based in Chicago, Illinois, and I'm playing Paul, the wine guy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kimberly Samborski. I live in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, and I am going to be reading for Phoebe.
Hi, everybody. My name is Leila Collins. I am located in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm going to be reading the role for Rachel.
Hi, I am Reece Elizabeth, and I will be reading for Monica, and I'm located in Scottsdale.
Hubert, you want to go ahead and do your intro? You were frozen when we came to you. Hello? There you were.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay. Let's see. Well, my name is Hubert. I'm from Louisiana, and I'm going to be reading for the role of waiter.
Nice. All right. So when we get started here, make sure you anticipate when you are coming online so that you can mute yourself ahead of time and not miss your cues, okay? This is sitcom, right? Especially multicam, so the pacing is going to be quicker. And so if we start having to wait for your cue, it's not fun, right? So let's make sure we anticipate and get ready to go. Any questions? Everybody ready? All right, let's go. So this is Friends Like Us, the pilot of what became Friends, written by David Crane and Marta Kauffman. The characters: Monica, smart, cynical, defended, very attractive, had to work for everything she has. An assistant chef for a chic uptown restaurant in a romantic disaster area. Rachel, spoiled, adorable, courageous, terrified, Monica's best friend from high school, has worked for none of what she has, on her own for the first time, and equipped to do nothing. Phoebe, sweet, flaky, new age waif, Monica's former roommate, sells barrettes at the bar, sells barrettes on the street and plays guitar in the subway, a good soul. Ross, intelligent, emotional, romantic, Monica's brother, suddenly divorced, facing singlehood and with phenomenal reluctance, a paleontologist, not that it matters. Joey, handsome, macho, smug, lives across the hall from Monica and Rachel, wants to be an actor, actually wants to be Al Pacino, loves women, sports, women, New York, women, and most of all, Joey. Chandler, droll, dry, a wry observer of everyone's life and his own, works in front of a computer doing something tedious in a claustrophobic cubicle in a nondescript office building, survives by way of his sense of humor and snacks. They are all in their 20s, all trying to figure it out. Act 1, fade in. Interior coffee house afternoon. A rainy afternoon. Monica, Joey, Chandler, and Phoebe are hanging out, talking. We hear snatches of a conversation, broken up by a series of dissolves.
I'm telling you, I've had it with the whole dating thing.
Yeah.
I mean it this time. If I have to laugh at another stupid anecdote or eat another Caesar salad, I'm going to kill myself.
I don't hate dating.
That's because you don't date. You just move in with guys.
That's true.
You know what my favorite kind of date is?
The kind where you don't leave your gum in her ear.
Can't believe you told her.
Couldn't help myself.
So wait a minute. If you're not dating anyone, then what's tonight?
Tonight is not a date. It's not. It's just two people going out to dinner and not having sex.
Sounds like a date to me.
Dissolve to the interior same later. There are more half-empty plates on the table. Joey is arguing with Monica.
I can't believe what I'm hearing here.
What? I said you have a very nice butt. It's just not a great butt.
You know who had a great butt? Speed Racer. Well, he did.
You know what? I'm not even going to listen to you. You wouldn't know a great butt if it came up and bit you.
There's an image.
Dissolve to interior same a little later. More dishes and cups litter the table. Chandler is in the middle of relating a dream.
All right, I'm back in high school in the middle of my junior and senior lobby, and I realize I am totally naked.
Yeah.
I've had that dream.
Yeah. Sure.
Then I look down and I realize there's a phone there.
Instead of...
Yep.
Never.
No.
Not happening.
All of a sudden, the phone starts to ring. I don't know what to do. Everyone starts looking at me.
They weren't looking at you before?
Finally, I figured I better answer it. Turns out it's my mother, which is really weird because she never called me.
Oh, yeah, that's what's weird.
In the midst of all this, Ross, Monica's older brother, enters. He's totally despondent. He moves to the others and sits. A voice from the abyss.
Hi.
This guy says hello. I want to kill myself.
You okay?
I feel like someone reached down my throat, grabbed my small intestine, pulled it out my mouth, and tied it around my neck.
Carol moved her stuff out today.
Phoebe goes to Ross and waves her hands wildly, very close to his head.
What are you doing?
I'm cleaning your aura.
Well, don't. Just leave my aura alone. I'll be fine. Really, look, I hope she'll be happy.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. Okay. I hope she'll be happy, but not until I'm happy, which may take forever, but hell with her. She left me.
And you never knew she was a lesbian.
No. Why does everyone keep fixating on that? She didn't know. How should I know? It's not like there's a mark on her head.
Sometimes I wish I were a lesbian. Did I say that out loud?
I told mom and dad last night.
Yeah, I know. They called me and yelled at me for an hour and a half. They couldn't quite explain how I'm responsible for your ex-wife's sexual preference, but that didn't stop them.
All right, look, you're feeling a lot of pain right now. You're angry. You're hurt. Blah, 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 blah. You know what the answer is? You need another woman.
Oh, please. That's your answer to, do you want more coffee?
Hey, you gotta get up on that horse.
And speaking for all women, thank you for the livestock analogy.
Okay, I don't want another woman. I don't want to be single. I don't want to put together all that IKEA furniture by myself. I just want to be married again.
And at that moment, a woman in a bridal gown enters. Seeing this, Chandler takes a shot.
And I just want a lot of money.
Looks at the door expectantly. Nothing.
See? Now why doesn't it work for me?
The bride goes to the counter. She is soaking wet from the rain, and she orders a coffee.
Isn't that Rachel Robbins?
Where?
Where?
Monica sees that indeed she knows the wet bride.
Be right back. Rachel?
Rachel turns and sees her. She greets Monica with an outpouring of relief.
Oh, God, Monica, hi. Thank God. I went to your apartment and you weren't there and I didn't know what to do. And I just came here for, thanks, coffee.
That's $1.25.
Oh, right. I just have the penny my Aunt Harriet put in my shoe for good luck.
I'm just guessing it didn't work.
She pays. There's an awkward moment as she surveys the soaking wet bride.
So, what's new?
Not much. Supposed to get married in about 15 minutes.
I didn't know. I guess that's because I wasn't, oh, I don't know, invited.
I know. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's your wedding. I just figured that we were best
Monica,
friends. I mean, I know we haven't kept in touch lately, but there was a time when
Monica, these shoes hurt. This cup is hot. Think you could get over this a little faster?
I'll work on it. Come on.
He takes her back to the table.
Everybody, this is Rachel, who I thought was my best friend in high school. Rachel, this is everybody. Joey and Chandler and Phoebe, and you remember my brother Ross.
Sure.
Hi.
Great dress.
Thanks. It's Versace.
What happened?
Oh, God. I don't know. I guess it was the gravy boat that started it.
Isn't it always?
I I was in the room where we were keeping all the presents, and I was looking for the gravy boat. This really gorgeous Limoges gravy boat. And all of a sudden, I realized that I was more turned on by this gravy boat than by Barry. And I got really freaked out. And I was talking about it with Mindy, my maid of honor. And that's when it hit me how much Barry looks like Mr. Potato Head. I mean, I've always knew he looked familiar, but so anyway, I just had to get out of there. And I didn't know where to go or what to do. And you were the only one that I knew that lived here in the city.
Who was invited to the wedding?
She smiles guiltily, then shivers and sneezes. Interior Monica's apartment later. Close on TV, a Spanish language soap opera is in progress. Pull back to reveal the group, riveted, trying to guess the plot. All but Rachel, who is in the kitchen talking on the phone. She is now wearing a borrowed pair of jeans and a sweatshirt, towel drying her hair.
Okay. The lady in the red dress is really just the guy who can't stand still
Because he's breaking off their affair.
Because he's wearing her top.
Meanwhile, Rachel is speaking to her father.
Hi, Daddy. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Really. I'm sorry. I can't marry him. I don't love him. Well, it matters to me. Daddy, please don't yell. I, may I speak? May I speak?
After a moment, she
May I
holds the phone
speak?
away from her ear. We can hear the loud, muted squawking of her father. She looks out at the television.
The woman in the red dress is upset because he knows who tried to steal her baby. I took Spanish in college.
Well, that sucks all the fun out of it.
They try to change the channel and land on a Susan Powder pushing her diet and exercise regimen.
Is it me, or is there something ironic about a bald, anorexic woman jumping up and down, screaming, "Stop the insanity"?
Meanwhile, Rachel is now arguing with her father, upset.
But Daddy, it's my life. Well, maybe that's my decision. Maybe I'll stay here. Maybe I don't need your money. Wait, I said maybe.
But there's nothing but dial tone. They all stare at Rachel. She looks pale. Interior the same a little later. Monica, Phoebe, and Ross sit with Rachel, who is hyperventilating into a paper bag. Chandler and Joey look on with concern while they rate the fridge.
Just breathe. Breathe. That's it. Just relax. Try to think of nice, calm things.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, doorbells and sleigh bells and something with kittens. La la la, something and noodles with string. These are a few of my favorite.
Don't sing.
It's gonna be okay. Come on. We've gotten along fine without your father's money. You can too.
You're right. You're right. I've never lived on my own and taken care of myself. And although it doesn't sound like something I particularly like, if I'm ever going to try it, now's the time. So,
What so? Oh, no, no, no. Look, I'm really not a good with the roommate thing. No one should be around me in the morning. Tell her.
Yep.
Horrible. No.
Nightmare. Nightmare. Yeah, I used to live with her. She's a total bitch.
There. You see?
Listen, if she says no, you know you always got a place with Joey. Me and Chandler live right across the hall.
Joey, stop hitting on her. It's her wedding day. All right, look, we can try it, but the minute we start sharing clothes or giving each other bikini waxes, you're out of here.
Special effects intercom buzzer.
Can I take your order?
It's Paul?
Buzz him. I totally forgot. I'm supposed to go out with this guy tonight. I'll just tell him I can't do it.
Because let's not forget, it's not a real date.
no, go. I'll be fine. Really.
Special effects knock at the door. Monica opens it to reveal Paul, a nice-looking guy in his late 20s.
Hey, come on in. Paul, this is everybody. Everybody, Paul.
Paul enters, everyone says hi, and when his back is to them, they indicate to Monica, not bad, all right, etc.
I'll be right out.
She exits into the bedroom.
Here's a tip. She really likes it when you rub on her neck in the same spot over and over again until it gets a little bit red.
Shut up, Joey.
Joey shrugs. Ross turns to Rachel, a little awkward.
So, do you have any plans tonight?
Well, I was kind of supposed to be heading for Aruba on my honeymoon, so no.
Oh, right. Sure. Well, if you don't feel like being alone, Joey and Chandler are coming over to help me put together my new furniture.
And we're very excited about it.
Thanks. I think I'll just hang out here. It's been a long day.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
Phoebe, you want to help?
I wish I could. I can't. I got to work tonight.
Interior subway station later. Phoebe is sitting on the ground playing one of her terrible folk songs. Her guitar case is open for money, and she sings.
Love is sweet as summer showers. Love is a wondrous work of art. But your love, your love is like a giant pigeon crapping on my heart.
Interior Ross's apartment, same time. It's a virtually empty apartment. Joey and Chandler are drinking beer and helping Ross put together his new IKEA furniture. Ross is working on something that someday will be a coffee table. Joey reads instructions for a bookcase to Chandler.
All right, so you need to attach a brackety thing to the side things using a bunch of these little worm guys, and all of that hooks onto H.
I have no brackety thing. I see no worm guys whatsoever. I'm telling you, this is a Swedish conspiracy.
What if I just throw out all this stuff and just use the box as a coffee table? I could put a cloth on it.
Interior Japanese restaurant, same time. Monica and Paul are on their date. Conversation has just come to a standstill.
You knew I was married, right?
No. No, I didn't. Not that this surprises me. What, with things going so well and you being so nice and heterosexual and all. But look, I don't go out with married guys. They have wives.
No, 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 no. I was married. As in, she left me. As in, I would be happy to see her trapped in a mine disaster.
Oh,
The yeast infection.
well, at least you're not angry.
He smiles and shrugs. Interior Monica and Rachel's apartment, same time. Rachel is talking on the phone. She paces, upset.
I just want to say I'm sorry. Barry, I am so sorry. I know you probably think this is all about what I said about the other night about you making love with your socks on, but it isn't. It's about me.
He hangs up and redials, waits for the message.
I got beeped off again. Anyway, look, I know you probably hate me, and that's fair, but I want you to know that if you ever just want to talk to me or yell at me, I'm here. You know, I still think you're one of the most.
She gets cut off again. She rolls her eyes, hangs up, and redials. Cut back to interior of Ross's apartment later. The furniture building progresses slowly. Chandler and Joey have just finished building a wall unit. They survey their handiwork proudly.
I'm thinking we've got a bookcase here.
It's a beautiful thing.
Then Joey notices something on the floor.
What's that?
I would have to say it's an L-shaped bracket.
Which goes where?
I have no idea.
Stare at the bookcase. Beat. Joey kicks the bracket under the sofa.
Done with the bookcase.
Ross is into his second beer. He stares at the furniture pieces around him.
I really miss her.
Yo, if you're gonna start with that stuff, we're out of here.
Yeah, don't spoil the fun.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I was cleaning out the bathroom and I found an old box of her maxi pads. I just couldn't get myself to throw them out.
Sure.
So I've been using them as arch supports.
Oh, man.
Dude.
Don't tell us that.
No.
Interior Japanese restaurant, same time.
Ever since she left, I've been able to perform sexually.
Yow! Oh, I'm sorry. Yow is probably not the most appropriate response.
It's so bizarre. I mean, I meet a woman and it's like my mind is going, yeah! And my body's going, want to bet?
Yow.
She takes his hand and holds it.
Yeah.
Interior Ross's apartment, same time. The guys have stopped building the furniture and are now just getting serious about their beer.
I'm divorced. I'm 26 and I'm divorced.
Shut up.
Ron, you've got to understand, between us, we haven't had a relationship that lasted longer than Minto. You've had the love of your life for 4 years. 4 years of closeness and sharing, at the end of which you rip your heart out, and that's why we don't do it. I don't think that was my point.
Okay, 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 okay. But what if there was only one woman for me? What if you only get one and that's it? Unfortunately, in my case, there was only one woman for her.
What are you talking about? One woman? That's like saying there's only one flavor of ice cream for you. Let me tell you something. There's lots of flavors out there. There's Rocky Road, cookie dough, Bing, cherry vanilla. They got the kinds with the fudge swirls and nougat. You can get them with jimmies and nuts or no nuts and whipped cream. This is the best thing that could have happened to you. You're married. You were like, what, 8? Welcome back to the world. Grab a spoon.
I honestly don't know if I'm hungry or horny.
Stay out of my freezer.
Interior, Monica and Rachel's apartment later. Close on the TV set. It's an old Happy Days rerun, the one where Joni and Chachi get married. Pull back to reveal Rachel watching. There are tears in her eyes and a gallon tub of ice cream in her lap. As Chachi says, I do, Rachel wipes away a tear with her wedding veil.
See, but Joni loved Chachi. That's the difference.
Interior, Monica's hallway later. Paul has brought Monica home. They stand outside her door.
This was great. I mean it. I was fully prepared for you to eat with the food outside of your mouth or make little bunnies out of your napkin. It's happened. But this was great.
It really was. It really was. Anyway,
The air is thick with sexual tension. He leans in to kiss her, but right before their lips touch,
so can I call you again?
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow, okay?
Uh-huh.
I was thinking we could.
Paul, shut up.
she kisses him. It's a good kiss. They press against each other. All of a sudden, both their eyes widen. Monica glances down. Paul tries to suppress a grin.
Um, we're not alone.
I noticed.
This is historic. I mean, oh my God.
She laughs and kisses him again. Then,
You want to come in?
I don't know. I mean, I do, but I don't know. Maybe we should take this slow.
Believe me, I'm all for slow.
Okay, tomorrow we'll talk.
Tomorrow. Good night.
she turns. Beat. They kiss again and again. They fall into the apartment. Exterior, New York, stock shot. The skyline is of New York at night. We hear the last strains of Phoebe's song.
And your love, your love, your love is like a fur ball in my throat.
And we fade out. Act 2, fade in. Interior, Monica and Rachel's apartment the next morning. Rachel is in a row, pouring coffee for Chandler and Joey, who have come over to mooch some breakfast.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, I've never made coffee before in my life.
That is amazing. Congratulations.
You know, I figure if I can make coffee, there isn't anything I can't do.
I think if I can invade Poland, there isn't anything I can do.
Listen, while you're on a roll, if you feel like you gotta make like a Western omelet or something, although actually I'm not hungry this morning.
Just coffee for me. It's breakfast and to myself.
You're welcome.
As she turns her back to put the coffee pot back on the stove, the guys mouth to each other that this was perhaps the worst coffee ever brewed by people. At that moment, the door to Monica's bedroom opens. She emerges dressed for work.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
With that, Paul emerges, dressed as he was the night before. He smiles kind of sheepishly.
Morning.
Oh.
Paul.
Paul. Hi.
As Monica
Paul, was
leads
it?
him to the door,
Do these guys live here?
No, they're just the Lenny and Squiggy of my life.
they stand in the doorway and continue in whispers.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
He kisses her. Monica eyes the others, peering around to see.
We'll talk later.
Thank you.
He goes. Monica closes the door and sighs.
And that wasn't a real date. What the hell do you do on a real date?
I'm afraid that's a mystery you will never unravel.
All right, kid. I've got to get to work. If I don't input those numbers, it doesn't make much of a difference.
So, like, you guys all have jobs?
The other three exchange a look.
Yeah, we all have jobs. That's how we buy stuff.
I'm an actor.
Wow. Would I seen you in anything?
I doubt it. Mostly regional work.
Unless you happen to catch the wee one's production of Pinocchio at the little theater in the park.
It was a job, all right?
Look, Geppetto, I'm a real live boy.
Thank you. You can both die slowly.
He storms out and Chandler follows.
He was really very good.
He leaves. Monica goes over to Rachel.
How you doing today?
Not as good as you, but I'm okay. Really, go. You go to work.
And with that, she takes her coffee, curls up on the couch, and turns on the TV. As Katie Couric chats with Bryant, Monica goes over to Rachel.
Rach, little thing. If you're going to be staying here, you're going to have to help with the, rent.
Okay.
Which probably means getting one of those job things.
Oh, okay. Not a problem.
Really?
Hey, I made coffee.
As Monica ponders this, interior Chandler's office later. Well, not really an office, more like a teeny tiny cubicle. Chandler sits before his computer screen. Rachel is visiting. He is sharing his work ethic with her.
I know, sitting in front of this thing is killing my brain cells and my sperm. But you have to make 3 long-distance calls. So, what the hell?
Chandler's supervisor, an older woman with a grim expression, passes by. She peers over the top of Chandler's cubicle. He smiles at her.
Hello, Miss Van Boone. You're looking lovely today. Is that a new pin? Smells like autumn. Don't you think?
The woman says nothing. She gives him one final dark look and moves off.
Woman scares the hell out of me. Anyway, your resume? Okie dokie. Previous experience?
None.
None. Job skills?
None.
That's 2 nuns. One more and they can walk into a bar. Okay. Education?
Bachelor's in art history.
With a minor in
Dance.
dance. You should be just fine.
Interior Bloomingdale's later. Near the fragrance counter, Joey is now in a tuxedo. He holds an atomizer, which he is offering to passing customers.
Aramis! Aramis! Aramis!
Rachel comes up.
Hey, gorgeous. How's the hunting?
Don't ask. But I got an interview here at 4 for an assistant buyer. I mean, doesn't that sound like the perfect job for me? If anything, I'm overqualified.
If anything, you're late.
Oh.
Go!
She runs off.
Aramis? Aramis?
Interior the same a little later. Joey is now coming on to a very attractive woman customer.
Here, smell me.
Rachel comes bounding up, buoyant.
Hey, Joey.
You got the job.
No, but I found this great pair of boots.
She opens a shopping bag. He looks in, reads the price on the box.
Wow, $400. You really got this whole impoverished, out of work thing down.
Rachel beams. Cut to the interior restaurant kitchen. Same time. Monica is at work as an assistant chef in an elegant uptown French restaurant. She is in a great mood, still in the flush of afterglow. Franny, another young woman chef, comes up beside her as they saute.
Hey,
Hey,
how was your weekend?
not bad.
You had sex, didn't you?
I may have had sex, yes. Onions.
And the drought is over. So, who?
You know Paul the wine guy?
Oh, yeah. I know Paul. Is he unbelievable or what? I mean, I could never see going out with him seriously. I mean, he's such a hound. But between those Wamsutas? Hello.
When did you go out with him?
I don't know. Like 2 months ago?
As Monica and the onions burn, we cut to interior coffee house later that evening. The group is gathered. Of course, sorry.
Of course it was a lie.
Why? Why would anybody do something like that?
I assume you're looking for an answer more sophisticated than to get you into bed.
Let's put it this way. Were you especially attentive last night? Especially selfless and giving, making that little extra effort because it was all about him?
I hate men. I hate men.
She's right. A woman would never do something like this.
Oh, yeah? Will you ever hear about a man faking it?
We do that for you.
You don't think we don't appreciate it.
Is it me? Is it like I have a beacon that only dogs and men with severe emotional problems can hear?
It's not you.
Actually, I think it might be. 9th grade, Ronnie Sugarman, and that kid from camp who was afraid of your bike.
Oh, and remember when Doug McAllister tried to feel her up with the oven mitt?
Okay.
Sounds like you can really pick 'em.
Yeah, it's a wonder I haven't slept with you yet.
Ow.
Well, that's it. Forget dating. I mean it this time. Kennedys could call me.
Especially Kennedy's.
Monica throws down her napkin in disgust.
I just thought he was nice, you know?
There's an uncomfortable pause. Then,
I can't believe you didn't know it was a line.
as Monica leaps across the table to kill him. Interior Monica and Rachel's apartment later. They are all back in the apartment. The guys are again raiding the fridge.
Why don't I just bring my groceries straight to your place?
Okay.
Monica comes across the hall with Monica comes across Rachel's Bloomingdale bag. She takes out the boots.
What's this?
They're my new, I don't need a job. I don't need my parents. I've got great boots.
How'd you pay for them?
Credit card.
And who pays for that?
My father.
So when you say you don't need your parents, you mean except for the stuff you want to buy.
What would you like me to do? Not have my parents pay for anything?
Rach, you can't live off your parents your whole life.
I know that. That's why I was getting married.
Oh, just give her a break, okay? I mean, it's hard being on your own for the first time.
Thank you.
Oh, I remember when I was on my own for the first time. I was 14. Yeah, my mom had just killed herself, and my stepdad was back in prison. And when I got here, I didn't know anybody, so I moved in with this albino guy, and he was selling smack out of the Port Authority. Then he killed himself, and I found aromatherapy. So believe me, I know exactly how you feel.
Rachel can only stare at her.
Look, maybe this whole roommate thing wasn't such a great idea. I mean, this is high school all over again. I work every afternoon, every weekend for 2 years to buy this horrible Chevette held together with band-aids and no windows. Her father buys her a BMW convertible. This is the real world. I don't need that here.
That was a great car.
Ross!
Do you know how jealous I was of your car?
Oh, please.
I was, because it was yours. I look at you guys, your creepy apartments with no doorman and used furniture, working just to make rent, and I think that is so great.
So how come I want to hit you with the brick?
I just don't think I can do it. This is me. This is who I am.
Bull. That's not all you are. You think you'd be my friend? Give me some credit.
Rachel stares at her. Interior the same a little later. Rachel sits at the kitchen table with her credit cards spread out before her. The others look on supportively. Rachel picks up a scissors. She hesitates.
Is this really necessary? I mean, I can stop charging anytime I want.
The first step is admitting you have a problem.
I can't do it.
You can.
On.
Oh, Rach.
They all start to cheer her on.
Got this, Rachel. You got this.
You can do it. You
Yeah,
can do it.
let's go.
Come
One
on.
With that,
You know
she,
what?
oh, sorry. With that, she cuts the first card in half. She lets out a little cry, and the others cheer.
Woo.
Woo! Go, Rachel. Woohoo!
I think we should just leave it at that. You know, like a symbolic gesture.
That was a gas card. You don't even have a car in the city.
Okay, fine.
With that, she quickly and painfully cuts through the other cards.
If you listen very carefully, you can hear the sound of 1,000 retailers scream.
Rachel hesitates at the last one. Very nostalgic.
This was my first one. I can hardly see the numbers. They had to punch these in. The magnetic strip doesn't work anymore.
Rachel, cut the card.
Rachel summons her courage and cuts. The others cheer. Monica gives her a hug.
Welcome to the real world. It really sucks. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Interior the same later that night. Joey, Chandler, and Phoebe have left. Monica and Rachel and Ross sit watching television eating Oreos. On the TV is the Dr. Bernie show. The veterinarian is showing a woman how to give eye drops to her cat. Ross yawns.
You wanna crash on the couch?
That's okay.
You sure? I'll make you peanut butter and bananas.
No. I gotta go home sometime.
Yeah, well, I gotta go to sleep sometime, so.
She gets up, kisses him on the head, and starts toward the bedroom.
Don't forget, tomorrow's Dad's birthday.
Oh, great. Wait till today to tell me. Like I can really get a card to him by tomorrow. Jerk.
She goes into the bedroom. Ross turns to Rachel.
In my heart, I'm an only child.
You want it?
Split it with you. You probably didn't know this, but back in high school, I had a major crush on you.
I know.
You did? Really? I always figured you just thought I was Monica's geeky older brother.
I did.
Oh,
She shrugs and gives him a smile. It was a long time ago.
listen, do you think, and try not to let my intense vulnerability become a factor here, do you think it would be okay if I asked you out sometime? Maybe?
Yeah. Maybe.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I will. Night.
Night.
He gets up and starts the door. Monica comes out of her bedroom. She sees his face. He is clearly very pleased with himself.
What's with you?
I just grabbed a spoon.
And with that, we dissolve to interior coffee house. Several days later, Monica, Phoebe, and the guys are hanging out.
Okay, fine. It's a great butt. It's a phenomenal butt. In a Ned Beatty sort of way.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Monica laughs. The waitress comes over to the table. That's Rachel.
You guys want any coffee?
Did you make it or are you just serving it?
Just serving it.
Yes.
Oh, good,
yes.
yeah.
Please.
Right on. Let's go.
As she pours,
You know who had great legs? Mr. Green Jeans.
When did you see his legs?
and as they all chime in, laughing and talking at once, we fade out. Tag, fade in. Interior Ross's apartment, evening. All of the furniture is finished, and all of it is a little askew. Ross goes to his kitchen table and sets a glass down on it. He sits, the chair is visibly uneven, rocking from leg to leg. As he tries to fix it, the glass begins to slowly slide down the slanted table. He catches it just in time. Special effects knock on the door. Rock gets up and answers it. He is surprised to discover Carol, his soon-to-be ex-wife.
Carol.
Hi. These looks good.
Especially if you go like this. Which is because all the furniture is kind of, well, never mind. So, what's up?
I'm pregnant.
The glass falls off the table. Ross glances at it, then back at Carol.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I'm pregnant. And I want to keep it.
Is it mine?
Well, it's not Susan's.
Ross takes us in, and on this little cliffhanger, we fade out. End of show. Yay! Good job. As only it was an hour to read a half-hour comedy.
There you go.
Now here comes the residuals.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll open it up to you guys and just kind of let you start with what your experience was reading such an iconic script and getting to play iconic characters, etc. And just kind of go with your experience first before we dive into something else. Anybody start. Go.
Nose goes. Oh, sorry, ladies first.
Okay. I was very excited when I got Ross because he's like such a hated character at this point. Or not hated, but like he gets picked on for just bad behavior. But I think David Schwimmer is the funniest actor ever. Like I just think he's so funny. I love Ross. So that was very fun for me.
Yes, I'm the manipulator and I'm the least hated person.
I thought playing my character was pretty fun. My aunt, she's like my best friend in the family. She's absolutely obsessed with Friends. So when I told her I was doing a table read, she like thought I was like actually like filming the friend, like she was going crazy. So, and I've always loved Friends, so it's really fun to like play a character that like I never would have imagined me having to play, but now I am. So I really enjoy that part.
For me, I just guess all those years of being a total smartass and sarcastic are finally paying off. So thanks, Ashley.
You're welcome. Of course. Yeah, I loved reading. Something that I love about reading iconic scripts is seeing what was on the page and what the actors brought to it, right? So like reading Rachel straight off the page, she could be not very likable, right? But what Jennifer Aniston brought to it from what we know, it brought this, charming naivety to it that really made us fall in love with her, right? So those are the kinds of the things that I like to see. Oh, okay. So this is what I bring, right, to that role. Like how would I be this person? Uh, and that's how it becomes iconic, right? And that's something, Kimberly, that we talked about with yours, right? With Phoebe, because Phoebe wasn't Phoebe until Lisa Kudrow got her, right? And so with Kimberly, we were like, how would Kimberly play her if we didn't know that Lisa Kudrow's version existed, right? And we got to play with that a little bit. That's one of my favorite things about reading these scripts is seeing all of that. Bruna.
To me, it was so nice watching you all doing it. I come like from a culture where we do a lot of soap opera, so I did watch little bit of Friends, but I didn't grow up with it. And it was really nice to see how you all took it. And in the acting mind, I was like, oh my gosh, the waitress got one line. Does anyone want any coffee? And to me, it's like the I don't grow up with the sitcom culture. It's like, how do you deliver this? And to me, like as Franny, so many possible choices. Is she jealous? Is she really cheering for the girl, not knowing what's coming next? So it's so interesting watching all these possibilities of creating the character and definitely making strong choices. And I did notice that a lot of the jokes landed, in my opinion. So that was really nice. The pacing seemed fine to me. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this was my favorite table read so far that we've done. And I'm going to say this, it's probably because you all had to pay for it and you all came to it very seriously versus those of you that have been on it before. There's a lot of people that like we're just not as professional or there's no shows and all of this kind of stuff. So everybody was super prepared. You picked up your cues. You understood where most of the jokes were, which is ideal in this kind of situation, right? You come, especially in multicam, you guys, they're going to get a script. And they want to hear it out loud because then they'll make changes if the joke doesn't land. So if you guys haven't done your homework on where are the jokes, who am I talking to, why is this funny, how do I make this funny? There's usually a joke per scene, at least one, if not more, in a comedy, right? So you've got to find those and do your research. And if it doesn't land, then they're going to rewrite it. Then once we get to set on a multicam, who knows the difference between a multicam and a single cam for sitcom? Evan? A few people. Anybody want to answer it? Evan, go ahead. You were first to raise your hand.
Is it multicam, several different cameras on each end and then a single camera for one camera?
Okay. Yep. Yes. And what else? Anybody else? Caroline?
Multicams are typically in front of a live audience versus single cam is not.
Correct. Keith?
Friends is multicam, something like I think Scrubs probably single cam.
Yes, I meant like the technique of
Yeah.
between. But yes, you're correct on those two being multicam. Carly?
And another big difference is that with multicam, it's almost theatrical in a sense, like being on a stage, as opposed to like a single camera.
Yes. The I like to think about it being in a live studio audience and the cameras all running at once and it's pre-lit kind of a situation. I don't like to when I'm coaching actors to go, okay, sitcom multicam is more theatrical, right? What I want you to think about is how you're presenting to the audience versus being more anything, right? Just like if you're going to be on stage versus television or film, right? On stage, we have to project to that last row, right? So it's a different uh, way of acting, projecting, but we're not doing our emotions any differently. We're just projecting it louder. So with multicam, you have the live studio audience and all of the cameras are going at once. So you can be a little more natural versus like when we're doing single cam, there's a lot of like, be still, stop moving your eyebrows, right? Like you're being too big, you're being too this, right? Which
Ashley
happens
never
a
told me
lot.
that, right?
I've never told Evan that once. So I would not come at it with like I'm going to be bigger as let me just be a little more natural and relaxed and free, with this, right? So that you can kind of move around the stage. Obviously, you're still going to have marks that you have to hit, right? Because there's still cameras and angles and all of those kinds of things, but it's not like you've got a camera right here in your face, right? So that all of your emotions, everything is the same. I don't want you to go like, I have to show my emotions bigger because that's going to kill you. Okay? Does that make sense? I'm going to show them that I'm hurt. We're not going to do that. We're just going to be hurt and let it be rather than like, who's heard me say, shoot all that energy out of your eyeballs? Okay. And any kind of, so if I feel like somebody is moving around too much in a single cam situation, I'll be like, calm everything down, stop moving, and have everything that you're feeling, but let all of the energy go out your eyeballs. Okay. Just let it, because that's what the camera is reading you, right? So that's a lot of what I coach in most of my film stuff. But with multicam, you can be a little more free. Okay, does that make sense? When you're looking at a script, did you guys notice something that looked different about the pages of the script?
It's a double space.
Yes, Bruna. You're only going to see this in multicam. Okay, so if you get an audition and it looks like this, what does that tell you? Multicam. Okay, so this is a good tip and trick. Okay, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know that there's going to be this many jokes. I got to find the jokes. That's the big thing. Okay, then really dive into your role. Okay, because yes, we want to be off book. Yes, we want to have our stuff memorized, but they're going to be throwing stuff at you on set. Okay, again, just like we did on the table read. Okay. A joke may not land and they're going to give you new jokes. Try this, try that. But once we get in front of an audience, the same thing is going to happen. But now you're in costume, you've been rehearsal, blah, 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 blah. But you've got to be able to change it. Okay. So the character development is you have to be off book, but you more importantly have to have your character right on point, because as soon as they give you a new joke, you have to go like, how is Chandler interpreting this to whoever he's speaking to? Quickly. You can't go like, give me a few minutes. No, there's an audience, right? There's an audience. You got to be able to deliver it. So that's just some technical stuff about a multicam versus like what we've been working on. Any other questions about multicam that I can try to answer? Not that I'm like a multicam expert. That's just stuff that I know. No. Bruna, go ahead.
Let me see if I can say this correctly. Like I've done one introductory workshop, and to me, I understood that it's even higher stakes than a single cam would be. Maybe it's a little bit more bigger, I think, because we are on the stage and also on the audition. Like if we would audition for a theater, a play, my understanding is that we would do as big as we would do on theater. For an audition, do you think there's any difference or like slight difference when it comes to the acting? You said it's more natural because we can move the body because there's multi
I would
cameras.
just feel being more natural. I would not listen, you guys, this is going to be your frame in most auditions. So if you're doing this, what are we seeing? We're just seeing your arms flailing everywhere, or we see your head doing this, right? I would just be more free, right? Just be more free. Do not think about, I got to be bigger. Just let yourself be more free. And that will come across as bigger on your little screen. Okay, it just will. Like I'm talking with my hands and I'm not really moving outside of my shoulders, but you guys are seeing it. It looks big. It looks like I'm moving, right? But I'm not doing this because I have to be bigger so that people will see me from the mezzanine, right? I'm just being myself and being more free. Whereas if I knew I was single, I would put my hands down and make sure they don't see my hands in camera at all. Okay, so again, I don't want you saying, because once you do that, then you're overacting. Or if you're showing me your emotions, I don't want to see you acting. Just want to see you being yourself. Okay? Just be free and natural. Um, did that answer all your questions, Bruna? I feel like you had more
Yeah,
questions in there.
that was great. And one of the feedbacks that you told me was also like, I want to see it a little bit more grounded. So that I really carried. I think that was a great feedback. Like, it's real. Everything is real. The characters are really feeling it. Even though it seems exaggerated, it's a real, true emotions, right?
Real true emotions based in reality. And you had mentioned stakes. So yes, your stakes in comedy are very high. Okay, but they're not, it's not like they're not high in drama either. They're just you just kind of approach them in a different way, right? It's not necessarily through a dark emotion in comedy. It's you're rarely angry or furious or any extreme negative. You never are so depressed you want to murder yourself, even though you may say it, that's not how you approach it, right? It comes from a lighter intent, versus that. And I think that's where the comedy comes from, right? The comedy comes from the opposite. Like when the audience, it may not be a big deal to the audience, but to that person, it's a huge deal. It becomes funny in that way, as long as you're not approaching it from a anger, like furious place or a super depressed place like that. Yeah. Did everybody get the PDF that I emailed? Is that helpful? Do we want to look over it as a class right now? Yeah? Okay. I'm going to share my screen with it. So if you don't want to pull it up, you don't have to. Can everybody see it? You can unmute yourself, guys. Like, let's chat.
Yep, I see it.
Yeah, I mean, this is small class. Like, let's all enjoy. Okay, so when you're going through your audition will likely have, depending on how long it is, it'll be at least one joke per page, if not more. Okay, so you gotta find your jokes. So learning, one-liners. What is the one-liner that Joey has?
How you doing?
How you doing? All right. And that was not written into the pilot, was it?
Nope.
No.
Nope. It may have been something that Joey added one day, and then they just kept, or not Joey, what's his name? What's his real name?
Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc added one day, and they loved it, and they kept it. And then it just became one of his things, right? Um, quick, sharp joke delivered in a single sentence, often followed with a setup from another character. Um, what is something that Michael Scott has? A one-liner.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. So it's usually set up by another character in the show. What do you think How You Doing is set up by? What's Joey's setup for that?
A girl.
A new person,
Yeah.
like a hot girl or something.
Hot girl.
Yeah.
Female interaction.
Yeah. Okay. So, there's a catchphrase.
Yeah.
From Joey. One-liner shop jokes delivered in a single sentence, off followed by a setup from another character. I think I'm getting better at dating. That's because your dates don't call back to argue, right? So one-liners, catchphrases, word plays and puns, humor based on double meanings, homophones, clever language. Y'all know what puns are, right? We've lived enough to have some bad punny jokes in our. I know a couple are really young, but that's okay. Okay. So look on your puns. And you guys, this is also like a fun way to add a button to your scene if you wanted to add a button, like looking through these, you know. Um, physical comedy with verbal reactions. Okay. Slapstick or exaggerated physical humor paired with commentary from another character. Someone trips while entering a room, another character says, and the award for most dramatic entrance goes to. I'm being reminded of they were outtakes, but where Joey kept falling off the chair in the coffee shop, or he kept like falling in his entrance like 3 times in a row. And then in comes Matthew Perry on his entrance and falls on purpose. Right. And it was just hilarious. So adding that kind of physical comedy, and Chandler or Matthew Perry was great with coming up with a verbal reaction to that kind of stuff. Okay. Misunderstandings. All right, I'm going to adopt a child. No, a highway. Why would I adopt a child? So that's kind of like the opposite, right? The opposite of what you think is going to happen. Like the audience thinks one thing is going to happen, but if you can find an opposite that in the pilot, there's a perfect example of this. It's Chandler's dream, right? It's Chandler's dream, and his penis is a phone, and it rings, and he answers it, and it's his mother. And then he goes, that's weird, right? And we all think it's weird because his mother is calling him on a penis phone. But instead, he says it's weird because she never calls me, right? So that's an opposite, right? That might be actually be down here in opposites. So, Bruno, you have a question?
I do. When it comes to rhythm, if you're auditioning for a show that you don't know yet, it's new, or how do you have any tips? Because I feel like there's sub-genres inside of the genres, and comedy can be have different pacing. So any tips regarding that? How we can pick up pace or anything?
Mine is usually looking at who the director and the writers are, okay, and finding the other stuff that they've done, especially the writers in television, because they are likely the people in charge, right? Television is very, very led by the writers, okay, whereas film is led more by the directors. Television is going to be by the writers. Okay, so I would look up David Crane and Marta Kauffman and see what else they've done and try to find episodes of that so you could see their pacing. Amy Sherman Palladino is a great example of this. All of her stuff is very similar. Aaron Sorkin, all very similar, right? And you see patterns of those types of comedies or dramas, whatever it is. Either way, the tones are usually the same if you look up the writers for TV. Same thing with directors, though. If you go with movies for directors, you'll find the tone, you'll find the pacing that they like. You'll find Wes Anderson, Baz Luhrmann. We know them, but you'll start to see their patterns even if they're like a little lesser known. Does that help, Bruna?
Oh yeah, that's very helpful. I remember you put that on the email, but that's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Pop culture references. Oh, hi, Keith. I loved this in Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls was filled with pop culture references, filled with them. Yeah, Amy Sherman Palladino. Keith, you're unmuted and talking on.
Oh, sorry.
Who's home, Keith?
Running gags. A running gag, what is it? Always Sunny in Philadelphia is brilliant at running gags. Brilliant. They'll call back, there's callbacks back here too, but running gags, kind of similar. Watch that show for these kinds of examples, okay? Sarcasm and deadpan. Who's deadpan in this show?
Chandler.
Yeah, Chandler's super dry, right? He has a line that says, "Yeah, don't ruin all the fun." They're building furniture, right? It's like, yeah, no, don't come ruin all the fun, right? It's a good one. Exaggeration and hyperbole. When she's high maintenance, but her coffee comes with a manual. Okay. Character specific humor. This is very apparent in Phoebe, right? When you say she's very Joey too, because of his naivety, especially as the series runs. right? And he's like, he's the last to always get the joke, right? Stuff like that. Double entendre, we all know what that means. And there's a lot of double entendre even in this episode, right? When they're talking about Paul and the date. Callbacks, a character mentions their fear of clowns in Act 1 and Act 3, they're chased by one. This is it's also called a payoff. Like, where's the payoff? You may hear that sometimes. You know, they set something up here, but then later it finally the punchline is several pages later, right? And you're like, ah. And stand-up comedians do this a lot, right? They'll set something up. Are you doing a stand-up class, right?
I am. I haven't started it yet, though. It starts this
Yeah,
coming week.
I heard you were signed up for one. Yeah, so stand-ups do this a lot too. They set up their stories, and sometimes it's the very last line of their whole stand-up that calls back to something at the beginning, and you're just like, whoa, everybody's mind's blown, and they laugh and they're clapping, they stand up cheering because it was a great, a great ending. So comedians, stand-ups are really good at this. But is this a good guide for you to like try to find your jokes, right? Circle them. Circle the jokes in your auditions. Okay, make sure you know where they are so that you don't miss it when you're nervous. Okay, who prints their audition material? You better see everybody's hands up. I can't see everybody because I'm sharing my screen. But
Yep.
print it, print it, print it, print it. Okay, we can use it as a prop. If you start to, I know where you're taping most things, but when you put it on tape and you get a call back a week later, do you have your notes because you didn't print it? No, you don't. Print it, print it, print it. I'm just gonna send an email one day, and all I'm gonna have on it is like print it over and over and over again. Okay. All right. Character archetypes. This was fun to put together. Okay. Because it's like you don't think about it. You know it. You're like, oh, I was always a Carrie. I'm such a Carrie. I'm not really a Carrie, but I wanted to be Carrie, right? All of those things. Everybody was, then you had the Rachel haircut or all of those things. Everybody relates to different people in comedy, right? And it's because of these archetypes, and we relate to these characteristics with them. And then they are extremes of those characteristics, right? Nobody in real life is all one thing. But in the shows, we can do that. And that's again, the stakes being high, all of that extreme that kind of makes them funny. Okay. So we've got the anchor, the dreamer, the neurotic, and the rebel. Okay, those are your four main ones. And you'll see at least one of these in all shows, at least one. Okay. The rest of the 10 is kind of give or take, right? You may have some, you may not. They may be a recurring guest star that comes in occasionally to kind of give that little flair. So if you have an audition with somebody, right, on a sitcom, especially, try to find what their traits are. If you know the show already, everybody that's in the show, you need to know who their archetype is so that you're not playing the same archetype. Okay? Because you don't want to be the buffoon if the characters you're playing are buffoons. You have to let them be the funny ones, right? The series regulars are the funny ones. You're setting up their joke if you're coming into the show. Okay, so knowing who these are and pointing them out will help you know kind of what tone you need to go with for your guest star or your co-star. Does that help? Yeah? Okay. Anchor, we already did those four. The innocent, all right. This one, I get confused sometimes with the dreamer or the eccentric because they can kind of have similar naive and naive traits. Eccentric because of a very, very innocent character might make it feel like they're eccentric, but they're not. Does that make sense? No, that's not very clear. I don't want to just read this because that's boring. Joyful, sincere, naive, friendly, childlike, endlessly positive. They're very rarely, think of Phoebe in this. See, Phoebe is like endlessly positive. Two suicides and a stepdad in prison, and she's like, "Ba, ba, 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 ba." See, and I know exactly how you feel, right? But she's not the innocent. She's an eccentric, right? So that's what you kind of, sometimes the lines are a little bit blurred. Um, I'm gonna go down here to the sitcom things because some of these, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if she's a dreamer or if is she the anchor for Liz Lemon in 30 Rock, right? So sometimes there's a little bit of blurred lines. But she is the wisest one. She's kind of the boss. Sure, she is the boss, right? She's kind of guiding everybody, even though she is an a creative, right? She has this dream of the show. She's trying to build everybody up. She's very optimistic. She's very self-deprecating, right? So it's kind of hard to decide sometimes which one they are. Not that they can't be both, but you really want to try to find them so that you know where they are. The rebel, the Jack Donaghy, he's the one that's like always like going against the grain, right? Usually, ironically, it's the very conservative people usually that are the rebels. Like the Republicans might be the rebel in a show because they're against what a lot of people want them to do. And here's one that was confusing too, Kenneth Parcell. He's kind of eccentric too, right? You guys can chime in. I don't like hearing myself talk too much. Do you guys know this show?
In a fever dream.
Never seen it personally.
I've
Oh,
seen
okay.
it, but
I
not
need
well
you guys
enough.
to all watch several episodes of all of these shows. Okay? Because everybody on these shows are millionaires. Okay? Who wants to be a millionaire from their TV show?
Me.
Hello, right here.
So we need to study shows that made people millionaires.
Yep.
Okay? So that we can figure out their tips and tricks, like figure out what those shows are, how do they feel, what are these actors doing, who's what, because the writers especially have created the formula to make it hit and make it work. Okay? And it will help us find our way. They are the guide. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's been invented.
Yep.
Okay? Let's just find our version of the car that rides on the wheel. Okay? So everybody needs to watch these shows. You don't have to watch the whole thing, although you probably will once you start watching them because they're all great. Okay? They're all great. This is Big Bang Theory, I think, is the newest one out of all of them. But yeah. So I'm not going to go through them all if you guys don't know them. But watch them and try to find them and see if you either agree or disagree with my discernment of who is who in the archetypes. Okay?
Cool.
And the next sitcom you watch, try to break down the character archetypes and try to find the different kinds of jokes, right? So that you can start learning how to find them. Okay?
Hell yeah.
For sure.
We still got a lot of time left in this class, but I'm not going to just keep talking to hear myself talk. I want you guys to, yes, Bruna.
You said something so interesting about the co-stars, and I don't know about guest stars, but setting up the joke for the serious regulars or the fun ones. I went to a SAG a casting access, and the casting director, I can't remember the show he was doing, but he literally told us about this story that he had the actors coming into his office because they were too funny and they weren't supposed to be more funny than the series regulars, so they had to adjust it. And now that you said it, it kind of makes sense why he has said it before. So can you talk a little bit more about it? Like, so not that it is not fun at all, but it's setting up jokes like guest stars and co-stars in comedy
in comedy. Well, it's like that everywhere, right? Like the stars are the stars. If you're coming in as a co-star or guest star, your point is to carry the story along. Okay, you are moving the series regulars, you are moving their story wherever it needs to go. So the first thing you need to do is figure out why you are hired. Why are they paying? Even a co-star feels like a lot of money because it's $1,000 at least, right? To come in and do a co-star. I like $1,000 for one line, please. Right? Happy to do that. Um, there's a reason that they're paying you to come in and do it. Why? Because if it's not important, then they're not going to pay it. Coming from a producer, very stingy with my money, and I'm going to cut, as much as I love my actors, I'm going to cut you if you're not important. Okay, so why are you there? Why are you important? Number one. Okay, since we're in a sitcom class, it's going to be very important that you are you are helping to set up the joke for the main characters. Okay, the ways you're going to do that is finding the jokes in your audition or your script, circling them, making sure you know what they are, how to deliver them. And B, finding those archetypes, okay? So you do not want to be playing the same archetype unless it's written like that on purpose. Okay? Monica and Rachel are both similar, very similar neurotic archetypes, but then they kind of fight with each other, right? For that. Modern Family, there's the dad, Phil, and the son, Luke, are very both very innocent, doofy characters, right? That works because it's written that way. But very rarely will a guest star or co-star come in and compete for the laugh. Okay? So just understanding the joke and understanding the archetype that you're playing against. You don't want to play the same exact thing. You want to set it up. Okay? How to do that is going to be dependent on the joke, on the scene, on the character that you're choosing, all of that kind of stuff. I know that's a depends answer, which I hate, but it's the nature of this business. Is it helpful at all, Bruna, for me to kind of just repeat that? I would get coached. If you're not familiar with sitcom and you have a sitcom audition, get coached. I still get coached. I have a big audition coming up and I'm hiring a coach, right? There's stuff I miss when it's myself because you're in your head, you're in your development, right? Or your coach might throw something at you that you didn't think of. Like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me try that. And whether it works or not doesn't matter. But still get coached until you really get comfortable finding the jokes and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Any other questions?
Not a question, but a comment.
Sure.
And it's just that I really enjoy the way that we talked about sitcoms in the sense of a formula because they all are. And it's funny that I never quite thought about it this way, but once you do, it's like, oh, that's what makes this, like any of these shows, popular or successful is because they all have that. So auditioning for one, if you're able to just apply it makes so much more sense.
Something else that helps is doing like a beginning writers class and understanding how they write their scripts. Like, what is the purpose of Act One? How are we setting up Act One? What do we bring it to commercial? Before we break for commercial, what beats have we made sure we've hit? Right? So then you're understanding, if you know that you are in the end of the act of your episode as a guest star, you kind of know where your place is. It helps you understand why you're there, right? So those little writing classes, and that's something I'm looking at doing like a beginning, like I want to do filmmaking for actors so that we can all kind of learn these kinds of things and have a little workshop that we do like beginning writers for writing for actors and all of that kind of stuff. The dream is big for Desert Playhouse, guys. Super big. It moves a little, my dream is moving a little faster than my actual abilities to execute, but it's coming. Okay, it's coming, I promise. But yeah, so if you could find little or even books, and read a little book on sitcom writing, it'll help you like learn how to like those formulas and do that.
Yeah.
Book is cheaper than classes, but then you don't get to work still. Any other questions?
Would you say that I would say mainstream sitcom acting is the exact same, but a little bit different than like Disney or Nickelodeon sitcom acting, or is it all the same?
Disney and Nickelodeon. I don't love Disney Nickelodeon acting because it doesn't feel grounded to me. Um, Not to say that it doesn't make a lot of money, and if I was asked to audition and hired on it, I would turn it down. I would be like,
Yeah,
thank you
Wins do,
for the
right?
opportunity. It is definitely different. It's different. Okay. I don't coach it because it's not something that I believe in. Those of you that know me, I'm really grounded in memory work and in reality, it's like, how can you feel it in your body? Um, and that Disney just doesn't do it for me as far as that concerns. So I don't coach it, but they are different. Network TV drama and sitcom are different than Nickelodeon and Disney. Just is.
I have to. Oh,
Oh,
sorry. Please, no,
no,
please go ahead. I've talked a lot already.
Caroline, go ahead.
It's a really random question about how the schedule works on a multicam, because I know there's usually like a big show night that's at the end of the week in front of the live studio audience. So is the rest of the week mostly spent in rehearsal, or do they shoot anything before, like without the audience there?
Um, there's a lot of rehearsal in multicam. If they're going off stage, they'll shoot that before. But they have to bring the audience in. If you are in LA, you can go be a member of studio audience. You can get tickets and go do it. And that's a huge learning experience to get to go watch them work. Multicam is getting fewer and fewer and fewer, but they might make a comeback. They keep saying multicam is dying, and then Big Bang Theory happened, right? And then they say multicam is dying, and then there'll be another show that like explodes, right? But if you are in LA, getting a ticket to go, there's not very expensive to do. They just make you take away your phone for a day, which is hard, but they lock it away. You're not allowed to have it like on your body at all. And then you have to like ask for bathroom breaks, and they have to be very specific on, when you can get up and go and stuff like that. But it's still super fun to go experience and see. And then, yeah, lots of rehearsals because it's live, right? Lots of rehearsals. And then anything that's shot off stage would be shot ahead of time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Keith.
And do they?
Sorry, Keith, go ahead.
Any advice on how to prevent going stale, like how to prevent flanderization or something like that, or jump with a shark?
As far as the series is concerned?
Or writing or just acting,
I
like how to
don't.
avoid getting
Well, as far as
complacent.
writing, I don't have any tips because I'm not a writer. I can
I
barely
mean, I mean, acting or not being complacent.
technique.
Yeah.
Technique, because you're doing 8 shows a week in theater, the same thing that you prepared in rehearsals before you opened, is not going to be the same thing that catches you emotionally 3 months, 4 months later. Okay. So technique, always finding and diving into the role, getting further into why, asking why, what is happening? Why is this happening? What am I trying to say? Continuing to ask that question even after you've gone through the opening process, because if anybody that's done theater, raise your hand if you closed and you go, oh shit, that's how it was supposed to be done. All the time for me. I close and I'm like, God dang it. That's what I should have done. Okay. Always asking those questions because then it will come new. And then you can talk to your director if you want to try something new. It's like, hey, I found this. What do you think? Try it, don't try it, they say. Yeah.
Ashley's a method actor by heart, and because of that, he's in therapy 3 times a week. I'm kidding, but
Me? I'm
yes,
in therapy because I coach Evan.
right. Need your money back.
Bruna, you had some questions.
I have two questions, and I'm sorry if I missed it. But one is about your coaching sessions. You said that you do 1 hour, and I wonder if you do half an hour as well. And the other question that I had, it's like if you can talk a little bit more, not really related to the sitcom necessarily, but to a co-star versus guest star when it comes to the purpose in the scene or approach to the script.
Okay. Quick answer. Don't typically do a half hour for an audition session because it usually takes the full hour, unless it's like a co-star, which is like one line. It doesn't take a whole hour to coach on it, right? But I usually help you put it on tape when we're coaching, and so if it's at least a page, it's going to take the whole hour for me to help you break it down. And even if you think you got it, I'm Carly, right? I'm gonna find more stuff for you to do. I made Carly run around her house once.
Yeah. It
Go run,
worked.
go run around your house and come back and we're gonna put it on tape, right? Like, and we try different things. So, um, but yeah, I do an hour for audition coaching. You need to text me when you get an audition because it's a quick turnaround and I try to squeeze you in. Try to find a time that I could squeeze you in versus just like scheduling on my Calendly because that's reserved for, free stuff or audition reviews, which are a little half hour prep. Okay.
Text you mean email, right?
Yeah, text me. You guys should, if you've been cast in my show, you have my cell.
Okay,
You can
just to
text
make
me.
sure.
Yeah, text me. Hey, Ashley, I have an audition. I'd like to coach. It's due this day. When are you available? And I try to find a time that works. Okay. Co-stars versus guest stars. Co-stars are 5 lines or less. Technically, these days are trying to save some money, and they'll do a large co-star, which is BS, but it is what it is. I'll still take the job, right? Where it's more than 5 lines, but they're still calling you a co-star, most likely because it's all in one scene, and they can shoot you out on one day, and you're done. Okay. Um, a one-liner to me is harder than a whole scene, right? Because you put a lot of pressure on yourself for one line. But don't just like, to me, how do I say it? Okay, so if you've got one line, then you have to understand why you're there. And it's usually to bring attention to a certain thing in the scene. Sometimes a waiter is bringing attention to the awkward pause in a conversation, right? They're coming up and the waiter's like, "Can I get you anything?" And they're like talking about something like super embarrassing and the people are like, right? They're something like that. There's a reason they're coming in, right? And then it's your job to just naturally in that environment make a choice. You're not there to steal the scene. You're there for one thing. And you say your line and you get out of there. Okay? A one pager is similar in the fact that you're usually coming in to draw attention to one aspect of the story, but you have a little bit more to work with, right? You have a little bit more who, why, when, who am I talking to? Leila, where are you? What are the 3 things I asked you to break down the very first thing that I give you a scene?
Who am I talking to? Why am I talking to them? Or no, where am I?
Hmm?
Where am I? And
What are we talking about?
yeah, what are we talking about?
Okay, you gotta know all of those
Who,
things.
where, what? Who, where, what?
Yeah, those are the first 3 things that you gotta talk about and you gotta understand. Okay? And then you'll go from there. But remember, the scene's not about you. When you're a guest star or co-star, you're a large crystal or whatever, the scene's not about you. Okay? Is that helpful? Yeah. Anybody else?
So one last question,
Sure.
actually. So for sitcoms, do they shoot the pilot first, then pick up by studios, or no? How does that work?
Say it again.
Multicam.
Take your hands away from your mouth and ask again.
So for multicam sitcoms, I said, do they shoot the first episode first, or do it season by season?
It's usually a pilot. That's what goes to order, right? However, if the pilot's already been purchased, they may go ahead and shoot the first season. A lot has changed now because of streaming, right? So, it give or take. Very rarely is the pilot shot and the network buys it. Very rarely. Okay. Usually, if we're just talking network, and I'm going to put in streamers too, like network or, Netflix or Amazon or Hulu or any of them. They're going to buy the script and they're going to want to produce that pilot themselves and then go, okay, which of these do we want to order a full season of? Right? We'll put it out, see how it goes. Right? Very rarely, and I see people do this, like, oh, I'm gonna create a show, I'm gonna shoot the pilot, and then I'm gonna sell it. And I'm like, you're gonna not sell it because they want to do it. Right? But hey, it's good practice, and you shot something, right? And it's a proof of concept, and they may love the concept and then reshoot their pilot. So it's not like you did nothing, but that's typically how it works. Exceptions happen. Okay, always exceptions. Does that answer your question, Evan?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I just have a random observation and just want to say this is why I really appreciate doing these table reads and getting to see what the script looked like versus then going and watching the final product. Because I thought it was interesting in the script. There was a lot of back and forth it's not in the actual episode that was shot, but between Joey and Monica. That almost makes me wonder, were they planning anything kind of romantic to happen between Joey and Monica, which seems so weird now knowing what the show turned out to be, but in this very first script, there's just a lot of little things back and forth that I noticed between those two.
Yeah, I can imagine that there's a lot of exploration in the different relationships, period. Like you gotta, starting general and then figuring it out as the actors created their versions of things. You gotta assume.
hmm Yeah, it's just fun to see that and then
Love
know
it.
what.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's fun about doing throwback scripts,
hmm
right? Because you can kind of see, that's uh, interesting. Cool. All right. Well, there's one more thing that I want to do. I did at the beginning of the last table read, and I forgot to do it today. So I want everybody, and we're going to do some visualization. Okay. So we're not nervous anymore because we've already done our table read. Everything's done. Okay. We're going to close our eyes if you want. Okay. I want to take a deep breath, and I want you to clear anything other than what we're doing right now. Deep breath in and deep breath out. And I want you to imagine the email that you got, the subject line that said, "You have an audition!" exclamation point. Imagine that. And what are the feelings that came up for you when you got that audition? Were you excited? Were you nervous? Were you annoyed? Were you what? You don't have to answer. This is all rhetorical. And I want you to kind of explore that. Okay. And then I want you to be reminded that just getting an audition is a win. Okay. Just getting the audition is a huge win, and we're going to celebrate that. Okay. So take a deep breath in. Think of that audition email. You have an audition, and I want you to say, "Thank you, universe. More of this, please." You can say that out loud if you want to, or just to yourself.
There's more of this, please.
More of this, please.
More of this, please.
I love doing Irish accents.
Thank you, universe. More of these auditions, please. All right, then I want you to think of the email that you got that says, "Congratulations to the cast." Those are exciting. I really want you to tap into that excitement. Did your tummy flip? Were you excited to get the role that you got? Did you immediately start imagining how you were going to play this role? All of that excitement. And I want you to say, thank you, universe. More of this, please.
Thank you, universe. More of this, please.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I want you guys to bring in all of the amazing auditions that are coming to you in 2025. I want you to envision what you want to accomplish this year in 2025. And I want you to realize that because you're envisioning it right now, means that it's already happened. And that it is happening for you right now. The universe is bringing all of this together for you because you're asking for it. We just have to go out and we have to get it. So take a deep breath in. Say, thank you, universe. More of this, please.
Thank you, universe. More of this, please.
Awesome. I love it. Open
Can I
your
get an
eyes.
amen?
Thank you for coming and playing with me today. We have the Abbott Elementary is still open. If you haven't gotten your thing in yet, it closes on Friday. But we're doing one more sitcom. This is a single cam. And we're doing that. But other than that, I had so much fun. I appreciate all of you. Have a great night. And if you need me, you know how to reach me. Okay?
This was awesome. Thanks. Great job, everybody.
Yay.
Bye, you
Thank you.
guys.
Stephanie.
Thanks,
All right, thank you,
Ashley.
guys.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year, guys. Let's
Bye.
do
Great
this.
job,
Great job,
everyone.
everybody, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.